Hey guys, Gene Campbell here. So, with us launching GC Fishing LLC, we wanted to do a more extended video, if you will, kind of introducing us as a company, me as a person, to kind of shed some light on what it is exactly that we're doing here. There's been a few questions about that, and so we'd like to be able to just kind of shed light there. As I go out and talk to sponsors or I talk to nonprofits, it's helpful to know who you're dealing with and what the heck we're doing here, because it is a little bit different. We're very unique in how we're approaching this. So without further ado, in the spirit of full disclosure here, who I am, Gene Campbell, obviously. I'm a competitive angler on the MLF Big Five circuits exclusively. That's the only circuit that we're primarily choosing. We're looking at a couple other smaller little venues that are more beneficial to like local charities and such, and so we'll probably pick some of those up. But nevertheless, we fish with the MLF for many reasons, and I'm going to do another video on that exclusively. But with the MLF, it affords us tremendous amount of benefits that we can provide and extend to our sponsors. So that's why we stick with them. Plus, we also believe in their philosophy towards the sport and the way they want to represent the sport and grow the sport of competitive fishing. My entire professional career was spent, for the most part, the real adult time of it, in IT. I have a bachelor's degree in IT management. I have a master's degree in business administration. And so that's where we spent basically most of our time working there. I am a former youth athletics coach, coached anywhere from fourth grade all the way to varsity level sports. Football being the primary one that I coached for many years, and also coached track and hockey along the way as well. Loved working with kids. Was always bigger than the X's and the O's to me. Teaching life lessons along the way, seeing light bulbs go off on these athletes' heads when certain things happen, and then finding them, helping them learn ways to take what they learn on the field and apply it in school, apply it in life. That was really the juice of it for me, if you will. Also, I am a former first responder. I had the distinct honor of working with the Larimer County Dive Rescue Team for several years up in obviously Larimer County, Colorado. And that is a 100% volunteer organization that responds to water-related incidents inside of Larimer County. And the ability to give back to the community in an area that I knew not a lot of people would be willing to do was very fulfilling. It was something that I loved to do. Had to leave the dive rescue team when I moved to Minnesota, obviously. Couldn't respond to Larimer County if you don't live in the state. Had to step away from coaching, made the choice to step away from coaching in order to pursue this dream 100%. I tried one season where I did both, and it just didn't work out. I couldn't give both of them my 100% attention. And if you know me, you know that's something I believe in firmly, is giving 100% attention to the project and task at hand. Trying to keep that focus there, if you will. So made the conscious choice to pursue this dream here. When I left those areas, after getting bit with the competitive fishing bug, there was something missing from the whole competitive piece for me personally. If it were just about cashing checks or chasing fish, would have probably stepped away from this a long time ago. Same with coaching. If it were just about the X's and the O's, or the techniques or this and that, I would have probably stepped away from it. There had to be something more. So there was a void that was left when I left those two areas in my life. And I wanted to find a way, how could I combine all these together, bring them all together and make it go forward. A few years ago, when we decided to make this our primary goal, to make this our job, which was to do this full time in order to pursue further up the ranks, that was the biggest trip. It was, how are we going to do this? So as the evolution would have it, we considered many different routes. We came up with what you see here today. And what that is GC Fishing LLC. We provide support services, if you will, in the form of promotions and advertising, along with a few other service pieces that I'll go to. We wanted to give back in ways that we could. The amount of national, big, huge nonprofit organizations that are out there, those are the ones that you see the most of. The amount of a dollar that you donate there that goes actually to that cause there was kind of striking to me. I mean, no disrespect to any of them or their work and their efforts to help move forward with things, but it comes with a lot of overhead. There are a ton of smaller, local, still national also, nonprofits that are doing some amazing work in certain sectors. And those are the ones that we look for. Those are the companies, because we know that we can try to provide a boost, if you will, in some of these areas. That boost is provided by the competitive fishing side. Competitive fishing gives us a very big and vast reaching stage with a market that is brand loyal almost to a fault and a very captivated audience that's out there. In our sport, the amount of non-endemic, meaning not directly related to the fishing industry, the amount of those sponsors that are coming on board is staggering. It's picking up quite a bit. So finding ways to capitalize on all these things together here, we came up with this in that we will go out and help promote certain nonprofits for special events, enhance the product offerings they have in the form of, for instance, guided fishing trips. We do something very unique here in the outdoors and its connection to therapy and its benefits that it offers. We focus with nonprofit organizations that deal in three major areas. First area is in veterans and first responders. Any type of well-being enhancement that if this nonprofit provides that service, we want to see if we can help them. The second area is engaging kids with the outdoors, some sort of conjunction between kids and the outdoors. Obviously for us, the fishing area is the big connection there, but also conservation, boater safety, things of this nature. We can help educate in those areas. We can help provide sound examples in those areas and provide some fun along the way too. And the final one was in the animal welfare side, which was kind of the number one. My family and I are huge animal lovers, but the piece, the connection we saw in the bond, be it through dogs or cats, or be it through horses, the amount of therapeutic benefit that we saw in that bonding piece that allowed with veterans is what kind of led us right to that. Allegiance Ranch is Heroes and Horses, man. They're a horse rescue that rehabilitates horses and then uses them for helping veterans basically just come out and find some peace working with horses, riding horses, horsemanship, you name it. What a fantastic, we talk about a win-win-win-win-win all the way around the board. So yeah, we work with those guys absolutely. But nevertheless, that's what we wanted to be able to try to provide. We also provide such thing as guided fishing trips. Let's take a veteran out there who hasn't had a whole lot of maybe a break of some kind or an area just to kind of calm down. Let's go fishing for half a day. Let's take off. Let's go fishing for a day. Further we go and the more we work with some of these areas, we'll continue to do retreats. We have a retreat coming up in Missouri working with the Warrior Bonfire Program. We're honored that we've been invited to show up to that, so we're on our way, man. It'll be about a 12-hour run for us, but we'll take the rig, get the bass buggy up and running, and get the nitro flying out there, and we'll go fish with those heroes for a couple days. Those type of events that we want to continue to provide that kind of service to these folks. And other areas, things that we're working on. We're going to organize some kids fishing events here in Colorado at some of these local ponds. See if we can get a group of kids together and let's get them away from the screen for an hour. You know what I mean? Just something to introduce them to fishing, see if they catch the bug like we did as well with fishing and such. And guided fishing trips. With first responder units, we're hoping to reach out to some of the fire departments, police departments, EMTs, see if we can just work with them directly. We'll use our network of connections that we continue to find, but these are the type of services that we're going to spend our day, time in and time out, taking care of, along with special events that we can go do. We have time on our hands, and we want to fill that time and keep the schedule moving, and these are all things that we believe in immensely. To do this, it is not cheap. Driving 12 hours with the bass buggy there, she gets about 10 miles a gallon when she's towing the boat. Gas prices, you all have seen them, what they're doing right now. That stuff isn't cheap, to get out there and do those things. So how do we do that? Sponsors. Corporate sponsors or small business sponsors that get behind us that want to use their advertising dollars, because we are a for-profit organization by design. They want to use their advertising dollars to not just take care of advertising, but to impact, to make a difference somewhere. And not just in one location, but across many areas. People that sponsor with us allow us to reach many nonprofit organizations, many sectors, not just our local community, but also our regional community and even national in those cases. That if we can make that happen, that's what those advertising dollars go to. It helps provide the platform that we need to, number one, stay on the competitive trail. Number two, make sure that we can provide these services and get out to these events. And we're talking, like I said, not just the things, because there's a miscellaneous category as well that I wanted to make sure to mention. You know what? If the ranch calls up and says they need to move hay and they don't have a truck or whatever, we're going to take the bass buggy over there, hook her up, and we'll move that hay wherever we need to. Those are the type of things, because when we all work together, that's when great things happen. That's when you can really affect change. It may seem small to you in the beginning, but you know what? Every little bit, when that old saying, it takes a village to raise a kid. Well, it takes a community to keep things moving in those local communities. We believe in that at the core of our heart, and that's what we're going to continue to pursue and go after. That sponsorship that companies provide to us in the form of the advertising, it allows us to do those things. But it doesn't stop there, because as I said before, with competitive fishing, with the MLF specifically, the amount of exposure and media exposure that the MLF provides for us, even in the regional ranks as we're working our way up, is unbelievable. It's matched by no one else. There's no other organization that can come close to what they provide. When you start considering the live weigh-in piece, the channels that they offer for this, the stage, these events, if you've not had an opportunity to come see one of these events, it's definitely something that's worthwhile. Watching the boats come through, watching the weigh-ins and so forth, seeing these, along with combined what's back in the Outdoor Channel, CBS Sports Network, Discovery Channel. It's all playing Major League Fishing. So our brand is seen everywhere out there, and that brand association is a huge deal. When you look at that, that also translates into the social media coverage that we can provide in those areas. We're a very organically grown social media following. It's pretty rock solid where it's at, and it's just going to grow. That's our goal, is to continue to grow it nice and slow, like a good garden, and that way it lasts. And that's what we want to make sure, and that's what we're providing to our sponsors. And last, but guaranteed not least, the vehicle advert piece. If you do the research, as I've done, and you look into marketing dollars, you are going to be hard pressed to find a more impressive ROI than vehicle fleet advertisement. Based on the numbers and some of the studies that are out there, on the number of miles that we put with our vehicle each year on the competitive trail, driving around, talking to sponsor special events that we go to, we're going to put sponsor logos in front of somewhere over the limit of about 10 million different type of rolling impressions. That doesn't even count the stationary impressions, meaning over 10 million other vehicles are going to see our vehicle as we drive around throughout the region of the country here. And if you live in the Denver metro area, the amount of traffic that's out there. And a lot of times on I-25, man, it slows way down. It makes it real easy to see those logos on the side of the truck. That type of exposure piece is what we're also providing, along with being placed on our boat, being at these events, all the special events that we're going to be doing and working with that association piece. The advertising exposure is being offered to my sponsors at a fraction of the cost of what billboard type advertising would cost you, and because billboard's about the next thing you can come close in the price range. You can talk about radio and you can talk about TV, but there you're talking a serious budget as well. But billboard, we're offering it at, like I said, at a fraction of that type. So it is a high value, low cost, very small business budget friendly offering that we're putting out there to people, because we believe, again, in numbers. We're trying to put together, a lot of people supporting each other to get all this stuff done. So that's it in a nutshell, guys. We want to provide these services. Our nonprofit events and so forth, they are one of our top priorities when it comes to scheduling, making sure that supersedes pretty much everything else out there, so we can continue to provide those services those people need. But it all could be possible without the competitive field, that we're out fishing in with the MLF. So we balance all that piece together, and we try to offer up, whatever we can do to help. We have custom packages available too. We're willing to work with, these deals get done when you know people. And that's really what we're trying to do with this video, is let you get to know us, get to know GC Fishing, and that give us a chance to actually get to know you guys, see what we can do here to really affect some serious change across the board, and to do some solid good business together. So hopefully this is helpful, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to throw it in the comments here. Give us a like at G Campbell Fishing, gcampbellfishing.com, gcampbellfishing@gmail. We're available out there. Any questions, any comments, throw them out there. We'd love to hear them. As always, guys, we couldn't do this without you. Tight lines. Be safe.